Hello, I'm Professor Ginkgo, and it is the new year. Happy New Year's, everyone! It's not like this video was supposed to come out last year. Yeah, woo! Okay, so once again, we have another year of amazing paleontology discovery for us. Oh man, so cool. Kind of almost made up for the global pandemic, right? Yeah, no, not at all. Okay, so for this video, I'm going to talk about my favorite discovery every month and talk about why I really liked it. Honestly, the discoveries carried over from 2020. The amazing woolly rhino specimen that was discovered in Yakutta, Siberia around late last year. Or year before that, actually. The animal could have been older than 4 years old when it died, and thanks to the freezing temperatures, this animal actually preserved most of the soft tissues, including the digestive tract and the genitals. And the cherry on top of this 30,000-year-old sundae was that actually the horn preserved. Now, rhino horns aren't made of bone, but keratin. It actually is the same material in your nails and hair, believe it or not. And keratin does not preserve well, actually, making this an extremely rare find. Now, in past years, animals found in permafrost have been really common, and it's really cool material to work with, but honestly, it's a bit concerning that animals that have been long frozen since before civilization are now kind of being defrosted with years to come, and it's kind of a harbinger of the end times, and you know, it's kind of like the world's heating up, and oh my god, this is all gonna go. This is like a goddamn kaiju movie. I hate this. I hate all of this. I mean, I love the specimen. It's very nice. Don't get me wrong. But yeah, can we not have more of this, please? Thank you. Yeah. Okay. Also, the horn shows evidence that the rhino used it to find food. It has little scrape marks. That's cool. Okay, yeah, that got a bit dark, didn't it? So, talk about some. You want to talk about dinosaurs? Yeah, let's talk about dinosaurs. January did not disappoint with discoveries. For starters, we had a cloaca preserved off of Ceratosaurid. Now, for those of you that aren't into animal bits, the cloaca contains both the genitals and the anus of animals, like birds and reptiles. So for something like this preserved is amazing, because like this is a once-in-a-lifetime discovery. And honestly, that is really cool. China has some amazing bone beds. January also, a lot of pterosaurs were analyzed in bite force, with results showing that Nyctosaurus and Tapejara had pretty weak jaws actually. But as you see right here, the Velociraptor, extremely terrifying. Those jaws could cleave through bones like a flying guillotine. More reasons not to invent time travel. Please know, that is terrifying. My personal favorite from January was a mosasaur called Xenodens. Xenodens means strange tooth, and oh boy, does it live up to its name. Xenodens' teeth was really weird. It had saw-shaped teeth, and the teeth was really similar to teeth of animals like piranhas or dogfish. This was really specialized and allowed to cut like chunks of flesh into little bite-sized pizzas. And this could allow the animal to scavenge or hunt a much larger prey depending on how exactly it hunted. Now, this teeth is really similar to fishes, but it's actually really unique among reptiles in general. And I really love it because although mosasaurs are pretty late comers to the Cretaceous, it really shows that they really diversified in all their niches. February had a few cool discoveries, including a really neat DNA analysis of mammoths. The main takeaway I took from this was that the Columbian mammoth actually from a few steppe mammoths and woolly mammoths as a hybridized species. So that's really cool. Go check the paper, I put it in the description. It's really neat actually. Their discovery was a freshwater lazosaur though, in Dinosaur Park. Freshwater plesiosaurs are actually extremely rare. More of them are found in marine deposits than fresh. Now it's not super unusual for animals descended from marine ones to go to freshwater. Like today we had the Amazon river dolphin and manatees. So it's to be assumed that there's more of these freshwater lazosaurs out there. I am looking really forward to any future discoveries. Let's go. March's main discovery was a small sauropod, Erectar. Erectar was a juvenile at only 6.3 meters long, give or take. Now that might seem pretty big, but for a sauropod that is pretty small actually. It's hard to tell exactly how large it would have been when it's fully grown, because it kind of grew on Cretaceous South America, and if you knew anything about Cretaceous South America, it was pretty isolated from the rest of the world, which meant that due to the island rule and similar other effects, sauropods were able to diversify in a lot of different niches. They had some small sauropods and some big sauropods. Honestly, hard to tell. But I'm still looking forward to see if there's any adult specimens in the future. This is really, really cool, actually. April had a few amazing discoveries, like a new fossilized bird discovered. Now, actually, this bird was found in the late Cretaceous, and it was around the size of a cassowary. Now, the unnamed bird isn't really the first of its size to be discovered, but what's really cool is actually the time. See, it lived really close next to the end Cretaceous border, and its discovery made it the first of its kind. Spain during that time was actually an archipelago, which, if you remember right here, the island world helped it go a lot bigger than most birds during that time. But honestly, the biggest discovery in the month was the amazing Compsognathidae antipolictus. This species of Compsognathidae was adapted to arboreal lifestyle and had an opposable thumb. Now, despite that being really useful in our lifestyle, opposable thumbs are actually really rare in nature. Most animals really don't need it in their day-to-day life, but it's really useful for arboreal animals thanks to the extra grip it gets. Discovery marked a first among pterosaurs in general, and it's just an amazing find. Like, look at him! Look at the little thumb. You know, you could grab onto things. You could shake his hand, play thumb wars with it, pull the trigger on a gun, commit war crimes, call it innocent, get sent to the hanging judge. And you know what? This got a lot off track, so we're just gonna go to May. My favorite discovery in May was a new species of Macarius found in North America. Macarius is a bit of a wastebat taxon, and if you don't know what that basically means that a lot of possibly unrelated animals are kind of just like thrown in a big old bag and being like, we'll sort this out later, and then it eventually goes into a future paleontologist to sort it out. That's nice. Not really. That wastebat taxon usually consists of Biiig Cat. And what made this cat actually really impressive was that it had a massive humerus. Based on speculation and knowing about, in general, how other cats are built, we could tell that it was around 348 kilograms to about 427, and theoretically could take prey a lot bigger than it was. Now, the animals it could hunt was possibly around to 450 kilograms to a more whopping 1,300 kilograms. Theoretically, the maximum it could do was a little under 3,000 kilograms, but that's kind of really pushing it. But theoretically, it could do that. This animal may have hunted the rhinos or around there in North America, and I just really hope to get a complete specimen because that is a big boy right there, like a big cat. June was a bit slow actually. There's two discoveries this month that really grabbed my attention, had really good quality, not quantity. First was a study done by the journal Science. Now, sharks are normally seen as survivors of mass extinction with good reason. The shark body plan in general survives a lot of Earth's deadliest mass extinction. Most notably, the end-pervade mass extinction was practically an apocalyptic level of mass extinction that killed around 70% of all terrestrial life and 80% of sea life. Shark diversity, however, is really hard in the Miocene. Around 70% actually of shark diversity was hit 19 million years ago, and because this is a new mass extinction we discovered, we don't know a lot about actually what happened. So we really have no clue about the mystery of the dead sharks. Hopefully we will crack this case wide open as June's landmark discovery, though, was the new species of Homo longi. That was actually a new human specimen found in China, and it means the dragon man. It was found from a single skull and may or may not represent an extinct species of human we call Denisovan. And if it was, let me just tell you that would be insane. Denisovan humans were humans that we know from a little bit of fragments of bone and DNA. We know they interbred with various human species like Neanderthals and I believe human, but I'm not entirely sure. They had hearts, but we don't know a lot about them. And if this is a Denisovan, this would be the first time we found actual specimen of them, outside of like a few teeth here and there. Hopefully, more depth discovery will have us discover this, because my god, this is really cool actually. July's biggest discovery was, in my opinion, an in-depth look on sea-growing crocodiliforms, which for you that don't know, are basically crocodiles, or animals similar to crocodiles, that are in the ocean. So, we are looking at the Jurassic Metrorhynchids and the Triassic Telesaurids. Now, this paper looked at 3 different Metrorhynchids and came to the conclusion that, unlike their relatives, they had smooth skin. This is similar to other animals that are adapted to ocean-going life like whales. And the reason for this actually The ocean-going animals need to reduce as much drag as possible in a liquid medium, so that's why all sharks and whales have like that torpedo shape. Helps them reduce drag and increase as much speed as possible. The telesaurs, though, which are more land-lubbing, I'd say, than their Metrorincan brothers, or cousins, are a different boat. Those two specimens that were looked at were found to be way more similar to living crocodiles than the Metrorincans. And it's thought that it's because of, as I said, they lived on land a lot more than the Metrorincans, which show that they had like different niches, and it's really interesting to see how different animals that are semi-related adapted to the ocean in different ways. August had the famous Hell Creek mosasaur. If you don't know, the Hell Creek mosasaur was a rumored animal that was thought for a long time simply because the time period lined up and the area lined up. And as you can see, that I'm talking about it, that they actually found one in August, or a little earlier than August, but the paper was written in August. The animal is not known for much, only a few vertebrae and some jawbones. We don't know if this is its own species or actually from Mosasaurus itself, but well, time will tell. That's looking very, very interesting. September dropped a huge bombshell, and if this is true, this can shake up paleontology for like the next couple years or so. Italian paleontologist Andrea Cao, he looked at several specimens belonging to Compsognathidae and gave a hypothesis that some, if not all of them, don't exist. Now that doesn't mean that they're like Thanos but rather that instead of being their own family, they're actually specimens of young dinosaurs growing to larger animals down the line. Some animals today have a very similar growth strategy actually. Komodo dragons, for example, with their babies live in trees and have an arboreal lifestyle for getting bigger and going on the ground. So actually, this isn't very uncommon in nature, and that would be actually really interesting to see dinosaurs do this. The main evidence was a 4-part combo. First is them being small. They're fairly small, almost baby-sized, we'll say. Second is that they're pretty generic. They don't have any real defining features, no crests, no ornaments, nothing that would be really handy in attracting a mate, at least as far as we can tell. Third is that they showed up coincidentally, same time as megalosaurs and allosaurs, and as soon as they left, so did they. And the fourth is that they're almost entirely made of juvenile specimens, with only a few subadults actually being part on the rare side. Now, this isn't a peer review study, so it's not like 100% credible, but it's an interesting theory that actually raises a good few points about their group. Normally we classify based on bones and stuff like that, but it does bring a point, which is if they do live, there are some dinosaurs that do live in different lifestyles as they get older, how would we really be able to tell the difference? And I hope that some more paleontologists will look at this, and we can determine if this is actually true or not. My favorite paper released in October was looking at the diet of 2 sloths. They looked at the sausage ground sloth and the Darwin sloth, and then they looked at their diets. The sausage ground sloth was found to be an herbivore, but interestingly, the Darwin sloth, or at least this one, ate meat along with plant matter. Remember that one scene from Walk with the Prehistoric Beasts? Remember that scene where a giant sloth kills or takes a kill from saber-toothed cats, and I think he killed one too. I can't remember if he did or not. Now this scene was created with no evidence, and was seen as mostly speculative, but it's kind of interesting how life imitates art this one time, huh? Now, I want to make something pretty clear. A lot of people were saying that this proves it all, but actually, we don't know if this all giant ground sloths were omnivorous, or if it's just this one being quirky, or if it's just this one that's a predator. Could have been an outlier. Nobody really knows, but there was a decline in predator species around that time, so the niche was open for more larger animals like the ground sloth to take over there. So I guess we'll see in the future with more analysis to see actually. November had the weird Noasaur Berthosaurus. Noasaurs are a group of theropods like Masakisaurus. Berthosaurus is pretty interesting as its relatives are pretty well known for their weird teeth or no teeth, and Berthosaurus kind of goes in the latter. Nobody is really sure exactly what it ate, and it is a pretty young one too, so not a lot of features are there because pretty young. But its relative Lemusaurus had less teeth with a bony beak, and that was adapted for plant life. So people are wondering if it was herbivorous or not, but we can't really tell. But I really hope that a future more discoveries might shed some light on this, because it's really cool actually. December had a lot of news. A lot of news, actually. Like, I had to narrow this down as I was getting this ready. But my favorite was the Elasmotherium review. Okay, yeah, so here, I thought for some reason Elasmotherium was December, but it's actually November. So, whoops. So just pretend it's Stegorios, I think that's how you pronounce it. The cool Ankylosaur with the Aztec tail. Yeah, put that here. Elasmotherium, still a cool discovery though, and I think this is amazing. So we'll just, it was at the end of the one, so honorary mention, yeah. So if you remember Elasmotherium, classic Ice Age animal, big horn. People reference it because of the Mandalorian, but now Elasmotherium is known from its girthy 2-meter long horn that was massive. However, turns out they might have been a little bit misleading. It happens. He says it's 2 meters, you believe him, but when it gets down to it, it's been horribly, horribly exaggerated. And unfortunately, Elasmotherium had a quite humble base. Horn was entirely called into question, unfortunately. However, it's not about the size of the horn, but what you do with it. And Elasmotherium had a very, very interesting resonating territory. The horn isn't completely gone, mind you. It's just like shrunk in size by a lot. Probably shouldn't have said that on his profile. It is bad, it happens. It happens. They get torn up about it though. Because you know what they say, size doesn't matter. This is actually a pretty cool discovery because it completely reworks what we thought about such an iconic Ice Age animal. And although it's like less intimidating, I think it's really cool just because it's really unique. Now, it's not the woolly rhino. The woolly rhino is actually a different animal than Elasmotherium. So, for those of you Elasmotherium fans, it's not completely out of the picture. And what a year! What a year! Originally, this was supposed to be about 2 weeks earlier, but I kind of had a bit of real life go in the way, fortunately. But the bright side is I am now a full-time student, so I can make these in a more reliable way. So that would be really nice. I have actually a script ready for next month. Hopefully, we'll get that done in pretty soon. I'm looking forward to that one. Not gonna lie, Master Duel and Legends of Arceus being released did not help in the slightest. Sorry about that. Yeah, brain kind of works like that, unfortunately. But yeah, I'm a lot more free to do these things and try to build a community. Follow me at twitch.tv/FossilFighterRBP. I stream Wednesdays through Fridays, 10 PST. Yep. And we just have a blast. We just sit down, chill. So chill park games or Fossil Fighters. I play a head-only run on that one. That one's pretty fun. It's not gonna hit. What the? And I play a bit of Master Duel too. You absolute fool. You nincompoop. You played yourself. You lost your skill tree. This is what I mean. I'm losing to these. So check me out there. And I'll see you guys later. And thank you for all your support.